jumping is eye contact and always looking where you want to go. And it's with a lot of sports, it's just funny how wherever you look is where you end up going. And it's the same thing with riding a horse. If you're looking, you know, and your next jump is over here, you need to be looking over there. Or if you're looking over here, you're going to go that way. So that you always want to be looking and focusing on where you're going ahead. And this is just a picture of someone that I ride with and her great eye contact, how she's looking straight ahead. And just pass that around to look at. And then this next one is trust yourself and your ideas first. How important it is to always trust yourself in the classroom and make sure that you're confident behind your ideas and what you decide to do in the classroom. And that's the same thing with writing is that you always have to trust yourself, and when you're taking off for a jump, you have to be the one to decide when you're going to leave to get into the air, and trust yourself and give those cues to your horse. So here's a picture of me at a horse show. My horse. Okay, and then the third insight that I thought was really important was not to ever give up on your students. And there's a little story that goes along with this horse that they called her Pebbles because they thought her brain was like little rocks, pebbles, because everyone always had such a hard time with her and could never get her to do anything well. And so this girl decided that she loved Pebbles and she was going to take a chance on her. And so she was able to successfully jump her, and she's now selling her for a lot of money, and she actually changed her name to Rebel. So here's a picture of her going over a pretty impressive jump. Okay, and then this next one was set high expectations for you and your students. And that's actually going to go also along with my presentation I'm doing with Jesse on Rosenthal, that you want to always set high expectations for your students, and your students will meet your expectations. And so I brought a picture of, this is my baby horse, Angelina, and this is her daddy going over a big Grand Prix jump. So that's me setting my high expectations for her to hope that someday she can be that. And then this one's quite funny. Set goals for yourself as a teacher and never stop learning. And this was actually the first horse show that I went to was in Oregon after I got back to riding after 12 years off. And I was in this class where you could actually win money back, which is pretty rare. And I did really well in the class, but there wasn't that many people in it, so I ended up winning $25. So I saved the check. I don't even think I ever cashed it, but it was just kind of humorous to me that I actually got $25 out of making a big trip all the way to Oregon. And then number 6 was the teacher's voice as a lighthouse. And I have a picture here of my baby horse with its mom. And it was just representative to me of, you know, how this mom is always constantly teaching the baby, and they follow along closely, and she's always keeping an eye on him. And it's relevant to us as teachers, is always, you know, kind of being over our kids and hoping that they'll follow our voice and that we can give them good direction. And then the last insight was to always remember to thank those that you learned from. And so I bought a picture of me with my horse, and this was my first horse after coming back. I grew up riding, and then through college and having my kids, I stopped and went back after 12 years. And so this was my first horse back after that amount of time, and I'm just thankful for him because he put up with me coming back and not always doing the right things, and he constantly kept going and being a wonderful teacher to me. So, and then in conclusion, I just want to leave you with a little story. It's actually about my mom, and I hold this story dear to my heart every time I think about times being tough and all of us going through school and constantly having to have jobs and other things that tear us in other directions in our lives. My mom's always taught all through her life, but she's never been a teacher. She never finished her degree to teach, but she's always been involved in schools and teaching. And she worked for Even Start, which was a grant-funded position for English language learners, and their parents, their families had to be involved in the program as well. So she worked in that program for, I don't know, probably 5+ years, and then they stopped, they didn't renew their grant. So she was forced at that point to, you know, finally go on and get her teaching degree after, you know, she took all the classes she could at community college, and she lived in Gardnerville. So at that point, she was forced to kind of go on with her education and finally get her degree. So the summer before she found out, or the summer before she was going to go on to UNR to get her degree, she found out she had breast cancer. So not only is she going back to school in her 50s and driving from Gardnerville to go to school, and now she's in this, having to deal with having breast cancer and how she's going to get through her treatment with this. And I went to all her doctor's appointments with her, and the big thing was that she was going to continue her plans with school. She was not going to let that on the wayside, and she was not going to put that on hold. So through all the barriers that she was already dealing with, she also then had to deal with all her treatment. And so she had to go through 2 lumpectomies, because one, they didn't get all the cancer, so she had to go through 2 surgeries, and then radiation, and then also go through chemo while she was in school. So every time I think about how hard it is for me and all these obstacles I have in my way, I think about her and having to go through chemotherapy while you're also in school and driving an hour each way and losing your hair and all those other things that she had to deal with. And now she's a kindergarten teacher, and it's her 3rd year, and she's amazing. She's in a low-income school, but she has parents moving their kids on variances to be in her classroom, just to be in her kindergarten class. So she's always someone that I look up to and try to remember, and hopefully now you guys will remember her when you're having a hard time. Thank you.